Hi there. I'm back again from a few months break, and although I was thinking I wouldn't be doing videos, I have decided that I am going to be doing videos again. I'm looking at doing them once a week, partly because I miss doing them, and I do appreciate people who watch them, like Terry from the USA. Really appreciate you commenting and listening to the videos, and I kind of miss our contact. And also David in the UK, who I know always listens to the videos, and I really appreciate you commenting on them too. And I'd like to keep that going. And I'd like the videos to get out there. So I'm going to come back to do videos once a week. I also didn't think I had much more to say, but I realise I still do have lots to say, because as I'm learning more, as I'm training other people to learn about the energy dynamic model, they're studying it, they're taking it forward, and that's feeding back to the knowledge that I have, and that's also something that I want to be taking out there as well. Excuse me. The talks I'm going to be doing in the UK and also on the videos will be basically the energy dynamic model as a little intro, but then I'll be expanding it forward. And today I want to be talking about The Brilliance of Feelings, written by Una Ferguson, who is an energy dynamic model respected professional, which means she has done the training found in the Energy Dynamic Model Academy online training. She's passed the test, she's passed the exam, and what she's done is she's then applied this idea to her already extensive knowledge, experience, and fantastic work. And by doing that, she's put layers upon the energy dynamic model that I would never have dreamt of, and that's what I want to share with you today. And as I do these videos, I want to share what other respected professionals and practitioners are doing, because Evie Jacob, for example, in the UK, is also doing great work with hula hooping and making videos using juggling to illustrate confidence, and how to keep going and failure. And that's her sort of speciality. So I want to be doing these videos to talk to you about those people, as well as tell you more information that I'm learning through these people, and also to hopefully engage with you. So if you know of any organizations or groups who would like me to come and talk for free at their place, I would really like to do that. So I really want to be getting out into the UK, going around, and spreading the word. I plan to make my living by training people who are teachers already in this model, and it's all online. It's all online. It's under £200. You pay bit by bit as well, so you get a taste before you pay more money. And also by selling my books, which here, The Answer and The Eye in the Storm. I've actually taken these off Amazon, so the only way you can get them now is from the website or from the talks. And also I'm going to be selling paintings and the Power Tower. This is my personal contribution to the energy dynamic model, really. It's a sculpture showing who you are. This is the who you are aspect of you, all explained in the energy dynamic series of books. The who you are, the way this is manifested if you understand what you feel. And here you go, that's how you work that out. And then once you've mastered that, your consciousness is raised, and we then have our imagination, with which we can then use to create a better world for everyone. So I'll be going on tour with the Power Towers and with my books, and also some paintings I've done, as well as bits and bobs from the other respected professionals and practitioners. So please, please, if you do know of any organisations or places that would like me to give a talk, please let me know. I'd be more than grateful. So today I'd like to speak about Una Ferguson's book, The Brilliance of Feelings, and also where some of her very interesting expansion of the energy dynamic model has actually taken me myself. And the title of this talk, and as I said, what I'm going to be talking about soon as well whilst on tour, is to do with the secular path, how we walk a secular path. But if we understand the nature of energy and we realize that there's a very spiritual part to our lives on this planet, even though it doesn't appear to be, and even though the mainstream education at the very best gives a nod to meditation and gives a nod to mindfulness, actually does not look at all at the spiritual aspect or our energetic aspect, and that's a mystery really. But if we do realize that there is a spiritual aspect to our life and to who we are and to what we are and what we create, Una's book has taken that to another level, and then from that other level I've kind of jumped into another fantastic topic, which is looking at the role of Jesus Christ in the whole thing on this earth. And I'm going to very briefly give you my pattern of thought here. But as I said, do comment, do ask me questions, and do inquire as to more details, because this is exactly what the sort of thing I want to be discussing with you in videos and also whilst I'm out and about. So if we go back to the EDM, the energy dynamic model, based on the eye in the storm, really, all in this book, the most important chapter in this book is the chapter 46, sorry. I've lost my reading glasses, so I can't see type very well. The In a Nutshell chapter. I'm going to hold it there for a bit so you can maybe read that after I've stopped talking. And then this is the second pages of the chapter. And that's all it is. But the reason that this chapter is so important, and I actually added it afterwards, this is about the third edition of this book, and I added this finally. And I'll read the first bit. The most important learning to remember from this book is this: energy equals focus plus information. You can also reverse that, which is your focus equals energy plus information. Now, what this means is depending on what you focus on is where you get your energy from and where you get your information from. So if I'm in a mind dynamic, I'm going to get all my energy and all my information from the mind vibration. If I'm focusing and I'm looking at the spirit, that's where I'm getting all my energy and all my information from. And if I'm in my field and being who I am and I focus on that, I will expand that. I will make that bigger, because this is where I'm putting my energy, this is where I'm getting energy from, and this is what I'm learning, and this is what I'm experiencing. So depending on where you get your energy from, feel, mind, spirit, depending on where that's from, that will dictate what your experience of life is like. There's much more detail about this, obviously, in the books and on the courses. So if we go to the next level, so okay, given that that's how we experience our life, and most people, most of the time, experience bits and bobs from different places. So I might experience some from my feel, some from who I am, some from my mind, some from the spirit, and that will change throughout the day, and it will affect how I perceive and how I experience life. Now, that's from an energetic point of view, okay? It's an energy. It hasn't got a form. It's an energy. This energy, this information is received by you through your brain, through vibrations, brain wave vibrations, or vibrations off whatever's going on. There are waves of vibrations all over the place. There are sound waves. There are light waves. There are energy waves, and our brain is made to understand what we're experiencing by picking up, by tuning in to a certain vibration. Then it comes in to your brain, and your brain decodes that and translates it into this physical plane, this planet that we're living on, and gives it substance. It gives it a mass. And I've talked on other videos about one reason why energy is so important is because we need to get through the time, because on this planet we live in time, mass, and material. So I am a physical being, and I need to get through the next segment of time. So I need energy to get through that next segment of time, because I'm a mass. I'm a thing. I have meat and bones. So we go through life like that, and we need energy and information to get through each moment. I talk quite a lot about this in the Carlene video part 2, which you can find on my YouTube channel. But without going into too much detail, basically, the energy dynamic model looks at that energetic situation and how we can work with that, so we start to become stronger, and we can start to bring down who we are supposed to be from this energetic code of information into a physical mass and a physical being, and then start to create our experience of life as we are receiving our experience of life. So it's a little bit like a sound wave going into a radio, and then that radio playing music to you. So the information's in the sound wave, but the radio does something so then you can hear it. And interestingly, then your ear hears that wave, picks up that wave, and then it translates it into music, and it turns it back into an energetic wavelength. So if you can imagine that there's all this energy and information and vibration everywhere, and we are beings that are then translating that into mass, and the world we experience is the material creation of that information and that energy. Yeah, like I might have an idea, but then I draw it, so I'm creating that idea within a piece of paper and a pencil. I'm creating that idea. It's become something. So my idea, which was a vibration that we can't see, is then turned into something that we can see in this material world if I draw it. And that's what the energy dynamic model looks at. It looks at that unseen business that's going on that we're not really aware of, because we're programmed to be aware of what we can see and what we can hear. We're programmed to be aware of what's going on with our five senses, but actually what's governing what our five senses pick up is this invisible to our senses energy and vibration. So that's what I talk about in my books. Now, what Una has done is she's taken that idea, and obviously it's not my idea. It's very in line with many ideas, because it's true, quite frankly. But she's taken this template, and then she's put all her knowledge and all her information into that context, and come out with some lots of really good ideas about emotion, and I've learnt loads from her about emotion and things like that. But what I want to focus on today, the part of her book where she talks about the heart. Now, I've often wondered how the heart fits in to the energy dynamic model, because people say, oh, you've got to follow your heart, and all this sort of thing. And I've never really rated that, because it doesn't, which I just haven't rated it, basically. To me, it sounds like an emotion or a kind of intuitive thing. And intuition in the normal sense is often very misleading, because intuition from an energy dynamic model point of view is only as good as what you know and what you feel, and what you know and what you feel is often quite complex. So your intuition is true for you, but it might not be the best thing you can do in a situation. Okay, but then that's a topic from another video. Please comment if you want me to talk about that a bit more. But this heart idea, follow your heart, I can never sort of settle into that, really. But what Una's discovered is that if you understand spirit, mind, feel. Spirit gathers up spirit energy, mind gathers up mind energy, and feel gathers up feel energy. Feel energy is described in the energy dynamic model as a plus or a minus, a good feel or a sad feel, plus or minus, and it's like water. Mind is a tick or a cross, an emotional buzz, yay, I'm right, or a tick, anger, I'm wrong. So that's a tick or cross. And the spiritual doesn't really come down, because normally you have to go up. So we won't really talk about that for now. Let's park that. So in every moment, I'm getting a tick or a minus or a plus or a cross. And as we go through moment by moment by moment, my experience of life is a mixture of ticks, crosses, feels, pluses and minuses. And obviously the information attached to that. Now, what Una is presenting is that that's what's going on an energetic level. But as that passes into our body, as that's decoded by our brain into a physical form of skin, eyes, feet, blood and things like that, this energetic information goes to the place where your heart is. And in her book, Una explains that the heart is like the hearth of a house. Okay, so it's where all the information from probably your spirit, definitely your mind, and definitely your feels are gathered up by your body and turned into a material form, and they gather around your heart. They gather around your heart, and what your heart does is your heart gathers up this knowledge, this information, and the feels, the sad feels, the plus feels, the ticks and the crosses, all to do with that moment. So they all gather around the heart and they all come together, and the information is put in the context of everything else, and the pluses and the minuses and the ticks and the crosses. And then it's basically almost like, as I said, a round table that everything gathers to. And once it's gathered together like that, the heart then puts it together in a like a circle, puts it together into a circle, and that information is then taken around your body, pumped around with the blood, and that information of energy, pluses, minuses, ticks and crosses, is then carried around through the blood to every single part of your body, which gives every cell in your body a knowledge of what you have just experienced on an energetic level in this three-dimensional plane we live in. Now that is why if someone makes you feel really bad, it hurts your stomach. You feel like you've been kicked in the stomach. Yeah, that's why you get a very physical reaction to an emotion. So if you're angry, you get a physical reaction. You can you physically feel your hands tingle, and you do this. It's because your heart has gathered up the feels, gathered up the ticks, gathered up the crosses, got that information and sent it round to every single part of your body, and then every single part of your body is aware of what's happening, and then your brain can think, right, this is what's happening, let's work together to survive in this moment. And Una goes on to say that the information and the feels are carried around by your blood, and then the feels, in my view, this is in my view, are kind of stored in your stomach area, but the emotion, which is from that feels, are stored in bottles, which again is from the energy dynamic model idea of intuitive idea of bottles being stored in your stomach area that fizz up. But the emotion from those bottles is also stored in different organs of your body. And Una goes in huge detail about where each emotion is stored in each organ. So, for example, if you have a sore throat, that will be indicative of a certain emotion. If your eyes are bad, that will be indicative of a emotion. And what Una says is that a really key emotion is shame. It's the root emotion really, and that's often stored around the genital area, which is very interesting, and that's your root. And again, she talks much about that. So I think what I'll do is I'll pause there. I was going to go further down the line with all this, but I think I'll pause there. So I'm slightly losing myself. Never mind about your good selves listening to me. But what Una is saying is that the energy that we gather up of pluses and minuses, ticks and crosses, is then manifested into our bodies by the heart being the hearth, the center point of where the information goes, and then the heart works out what's happening and pumps this energetic information of feels and experiences and emotions throughout your whole body, and that energy is stored. The emotional energy is stored in different organs of your body, which is why people become ill. And it's also why, if you're less stressed, you feel better, because as you become feeling better, and you have in the energy dynamic model more water in your feels, you feel stronger. The sad bottles of grief can then empty, and this would correspond to where the emotion is stored in your organs, because the emotion in your organs would get flushed out. It would flush it out, because your body is strong enough to flush it out now, because you feel so strong. So the emotion that's stored in your organs is flushed out, and this can mean you have spots or rashes or whatever happens. That's the healing crisis. But then your organs are free from this, and so they can then start to work properly, and then so your health will get better. So this is one of the things I will be talking at length about on these talks. And as I said, in taking Una's idea of the blood being the carrier of energy and of feel, is I will look at more in videos and on the talks, and that has taken me to a very interesting place as regarding the role of Jesus Christ in this secular world. And that's a few more jumps down the line, but that's what also I'll be looking at. I can also talk on ideas to do with mental health, imagination, creation, leadership, and parenting. So again, please spread the word. I'll be very grateful. So that's all for now. So thank you for taking the time out to listen to this video, and do please comment, or if you'd like to join the free Understanding the Mind course, you can find that on my website, www.energydynamicmodel.com. Thank you very much, and take care.